Hi friends, welcome to Book and Coffee. Today's book review, which is my very first one, so welcome. We're actually going to be book reviewing a very special book, and it's called Vampire Kisses by Ellen Schreiber. This is my very, very first original copy, gifted to me by my Aunt Linda. So there we go. So before we get into, why the Vampire Kisses, I'm gonna just jump right into some little history on Miss Schreiber. The book was actually released back in 2003, which, when I did my research on it, I was like, whoa, that does make sense. This book was actually fairly new when it was gifted to me. I got it as a Christmas gift. But yeah, so my aunt's students gave her ideas because she was like, I don't know what to get my nieces for Christmas, and they were like, give the gift of a book. So voila, there we go. Anyway, so Miss Schneider was actually born on January 26th. So happy early birthday! And she actually lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. So Miss Schneider actually used to be an actress. And she studied in London at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. Fancy. She then actually transferred to Second City Training in Chicago, and that's where she finished up her studying as an actress. When she actually made the big move to LA, she wrote in her biography that her brother gave her a book to read on the plane, and 1, 2, 3, said and done. She got hooked on books and began to start writing her own books and stories, and thus we have the Vampire Kisses. And amongst other of her works, I believe one of the other ones she wrote was the Mermaid Tales, I believe. Yeah. Cats. I love him. All right. So, why the Vampire Kisses? Why did I choose this book to review for my first video? Well, I feel like because it's, again, it has a really big sentimental value to me. And obviously, first new venture, first ever book I ever read, actually. Yeah, if you could believe it. So, quick little, summary of the book. The book is about a young girl named Raven, and she lives in a city that she calls Dullsville. Well, nothing ever exciting happens in Dullsville, as the name procures. However, one day, a very mysterious moving van moves in, and suddenly there is a handsome young boy who has now moved in to the so-called haunted mansion up at the very top of the hill. And that's where the journey begins, is Miss Raven sneaking into the mansion to try to be friends with this kid, as she is the only goth girl, actually, within this whole town of preppy people. So it's just a really cute, fun book. Yeah, it's amazing. So there's a little bit of a summary, not a really good one, but I really don't want to give anything away. So, why this book? For me, personally, again, like I said, this is the very first book that I ever read. And this is my very first YouTube video, so I only thought it best. But, quick little story as to how I got this book. I actually was gifted this book for Christmas. And funny thing is that back when I was gifted this, I hated reading, more than anything in the world. Definitely had a lot to do with me going from a public school to a private school, and the education gap between schools was so huge that it was really hard to catch up. And one of the things I had to catch up on was reading. My reading skills were very, very low, and I was forced to read out loud a lot. And because I was forced to read out loud a lot, I never really got to, learn at my own pace. And so I ended up creating, I don't know if you can create a stutter, but I gained a sort of talking thing where my mouth is faster than my brain, and when I read and I speak out loud, my eyeballs will read, my brain will read faster than my mouth can keep up, and I will stumble on my words quite a lot, even as I speak. But during a move between the old house and a new house that my parents and I were moving into, this book was the only piece of entertainment, as the PlayStation and GameCube were at the new house already set up. So one night I was bored and had nothing else to do except pick it up, and I'm so happy I did. It was the best gateway drug of my life. Well, book. I'm a mess. So yeah, but this was my only piece of entertainment, and I'm so happy that I picked this up because it opened me up to a beautiful world of literary arts, and it's amazing. I love being a bookworm. Anyway, so another thing that this book actually really connects with me on is the very nostalgic goth. And what I mean by that is, like, again, this book was released back in 2003. Back then, it was all about, wearing black shirts, ripped up jeans, combat boots. I remember Doc Martens being super huge back then. I mean, they're still huge now, but not as big, not as huge as they were back then. I remember like wanting to wear black nail polish, get black lipstick, black eyeliner, the whole shebang. And Raven in this book is exactly like the girls, I used to be. Who I aspired to be, and she was rocking it, and I wanted to be the only goth girl in my dull little town. So it was like really connecting that way, and I thought that was really fun while reading. The other thing that obviously is the obvious one, the stories are really good. I mean, even today, as you could tell with I don't know if you could tell, but with like the spine and everything, I mean, it is, she has been thoroughly enjoyed. It starts off with, Raven being really young and growing up with her parents, and how they used to be and how they used to be like really fun, and they used to stay up late, and her parents, you go through her like early childhood, and it's really fun just to like watch her life change in front of her. She, like, spoiler alert if you haven't read it, but not too bad. But she is growing up, so it like shows like her first time going to school. It shows like how her life changes when her mom, gets pregnant with her brother, and then her brother's born, and then just growing up, or in her words, being forced, to grow up and be normal, or the Dolesville normal, I should say, which she fights adamantly against, therefore wearing, her black nail polish and, get up and everything. She wants to stay herself. She wants to stay unique. She doesn't want to be normal, which again is just so, it's so connecting, because again, like, I didn't want to be normal back then either. I wanted to be different. I wanted to, be my kooky self, but there was still a hesitancy of like wanting to fit in. I would wear like regular clothes just to kind of like fit in with my schoolmates, or try to, and at the end of the day I was like, no, I'm more comfortable in my black, which is exactly who Raven is. So yeah, but the stories, again, you kind of go through her early life, and then, you get to experience Dolesville and like her friends at school. And then of course you get to experience the mysterious Alexander Sterling. And I think that's another reason that I love this book is it is a romance, obviously. I mean, you can't have kisses in the title and not have it be about romance. Like, that would be weird. Yes, so it is a romance. So I really loved that. I'm a sucker for romance, as are we all to some extent. Oh my goodness. You are so loud. So then, of course, you get to go on this whole journey with her, wanting to discover who Alexander is and like figure him out, because obviously she's super into vampires, which again, back in 2003, that was like super huge, and you know, all of this stuff. As a side note, I read this book first, bulldozed through it, and then ended up going into Twilight. Just FYI. It was around that era. So, you know, vampires, werewolves, all the phases. But yes, but wanting to, you know, Mr. Alexander Sterling, wanting to discover who he is, figure out, like, is he a vampire, you know, and like, oh my goodness, finally someone like me. It's a beautiful, cute story about a girl in a dull town just wanting to fit in and be accepted for who she is and find a friend. And yeah, and I feel like it's a really, really cute story. I love it. I believe there's 9 books total out of the whole series. I haven't finished the series. Really want to. It's on the 2022 bucket list. So there we go. That's basically my book review. It's a really, really cute book. I absolutely loved it. You should definitely pick up a copy. I'm gonna rate definitely this book 5 out of 5 coffee cups. It's amazing. It's a really cute, very fast, short read. Definitely you could pick it up, you know, at your local bookstore, or pick it up digitally if you're just wanting to just sit down, have a nice, cute, quick read for the next, like, you know, especially if you don't read a lot. It's a very easy read, and it just fills you up with warmth and giddy, and you get to go on this really cute adventure with a girl who just, again, is just being herself and is looking for a friend in Dullsville. So there you go. But yeah, so thank you for coming on my book review. I hope it wasn't too bad. Nah, we had fun. But yeah, so the next book review that I will be doing is actually going to be a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So get excited. Get excited for that one, guys. So yeah, so I'll see you next time. Cheers.